In a village nestled at the edge of the great sky, where the horizon was a soft seam between earth and air, there lived a boy who wanted to hold the light. In the village of Umoya, the evenings were a slow, gentle sigh. The sun would dip below the baobab trees, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. And as the first brave star would prick the darkness, the children would gather at the feet of old Mama Abeni. Mama Abeni was the village's heartkeeper. Her hands, wrinkled like a dried riverbed, could weave the most beautiful baskets from sweet-smelling grass. But her greatest treasure was a single, tightly woven basket with a lid, which she kept beside her stool. Her grandson, Kato, was a boy with a heart as wide as the savannah and a longing to be special. He loved nothing more than the moment Mama Abeni would lift the lid of her special basket. She wouldn't reach inside with her hands. Instead, she would hum a low, sweet tune, a song as old as the hills. And from the basket, light would rise, tiny, shimmering specks of light, like 1,000 captured fireflies, would float up and dance in the air above the children's heads. They weren't stars from the sky, but something else, seeds of light, memories of joy, the laughter of ancestors. They swirled and pulsed, weaving stories in the air, casting a glow that made every face look magical. This was the starlight. It was a light that didn't just chase away the dark, but filled you with a warm, happy feeling, like a hug from the inside. Where does the starlight come from, grandmother? Kato would ask, his eyes wide. Mama Abeni would smile, her eyes twinkling. It comes from sharing, my little lion. It grows in the spaces between our hearts when we are kind, when we help, when we laugh together. I simply gather it and share it back. But Kato didn't quite understand. He saw the wonder in the other children's eyes when the light danced. He wanted that wonder for himself. He wanted to be the one to make the light dance. So everyone would say, "Look at Kato. He is as bright as Mama Abeni." A wish began to grow in his heart. A wish not to share the light, but to own it. One afternoon, when the village was quiet and drowsy with heat, Kato saw his chance. Mama Abeni was helping at the grinding stones, and her special basket sat alone by her hut. His heart beat like a little drum. I will just borrow a little, he thought. I will show the children my own starlight, just for a moment. Then I will put it back. No one will know. He crept inside the hut, his shadow long and thin. The basket felt warm, humming with a secret energy. With a deep breath, he lifted the lid. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a single, beautiful orb of light, the size of a mango, drifted out. It was brighter and more concentrated than any he'd seen before. It pulsed with a soft, golden glow. Quickly, Kato slapped the lid back on and cupped the glowing orb in his hands. It was warm and tingled against his skin. A thrill shot through him. "It's mine!" He ran to the clearing where the other children were playing. "Look!" he cried, holding out his hands. "I have captured starlight." The children gasped and gathered around. The orb shone brightly, illuminating their amazed faces. For a moment, Kato felt like a king. He was the center of everything. But then, something changed. The light, which had felt so warm, began to feel hot. The gentle tingle became a sharp prickle. The orb, which had floated so gracefully for Mama Abeni, now felt heavy in his hands, like a hot stone. "Make it dance, Kato," said his friend Zori. Keto tried to hum Mama Abini's tune, but the notes felt clumsy in his throat. He tossed the light into the air, but instead of dancing, it just hung there, stubborn and still. Its light, which had seemed so brilliant at first, now looked harsh and lonely. It didn't weave stories or spread joy. It just was a stolen scene. The children, sensing the magic was gone, grew bored and slowly wandered back to their game. Keto was left alone, holding the prickly, heavy light. The joy he had felt curdled into a cold lump in his stomach. He had the light, but he felt darker than ever as the sun began to set, painting the sky with farewell colors. Keto trudged back to Mama Abini's hut, the stolen light held shamefully in his hands. She was sitting on her stool, not looking at her basket, but at him. Her eyes were not angry, but sad, which was much worse. "The basket feels lighter, grandson," she said softly, "and your heart feels heavier." Tears welled in Kato's eyes. "I'm sorry, grandmother," he whispered, his voice sick. "I wanted to be special. I wanted to have the light for myself. But it hurts, and it won't dance." He held out the orb, which now seemed to flicker weakly. Mama Abeni took the light, not with her hands, but by gently guiding Kato's own hands towards the basket. The starlight is not for having, Kato. It is for holding, and then for letting go. It is like a secret or a kindness. If you keep it locked inside, it grows heavy and dim. But if you share it, it grows brighter and lighter. She lifted the lid of the basket and helped Kato guide the orb back inside. As soon as it slipped from his fingers and rejoined the other light within, a wonderful thing happened. A soft, radiant sigh seemed to come from the basket, and the orb dissolved, its light mingling with the rest, making the collective glow even brighter than before. "Now," Mama Abeni said, patting the stool beside her, "let us share it properly." As the children gathered, drawn by the familiar, happy feeling, Mama Abeni began her hum. But this time, she nodded to Kato. "You hum with me, child. Your heart is ready." Kato, his heart swelling with a new, warm feeling, joined his soft, unsure hum with hers. Together, they called the light. This time, the starlight that rose from the basket was the most magnificent anyone had ever seen. It flowed like a river of diamonds, swirling around every child, settling in their hair like dewdrops, dancing in patterns that told the story of a boy who learned to share. The light didn't just glow, it sang. It filled the entire village with a brilliance that made the real stars above lean closer in envy. Keto laughed, a sound of pure, shared joy. He saw his light, the one he had stolen and returned, now dancing with all the others, and he understood. His little light hadn't disappeared. It had become part of something infinitely more beautiful. The moral of the story is, a light shared shines 1,000 times brighter than a light stolen. If you like this story, click subscribe for more magical folk tales from around the world.